Hi, it's Lisa with Life with Lisa T. I welcome you to the channel. It's a bit windy out here today, but I hope you can hear me just fine anyway. So I have been inspired by a recent conversation with a coworker. And so today's video is going to be about temporary options you can use in a garden if you're a renter. Now just because you rent doesn't mean that you cannot build a garden that's temporary that you can take with you when you go. So I'm going to turn the camera around and talk about some options that you have for building a temporary garden in a rental space. So one of the first options that you have is containers. Now this particular container is more or less was for a my nephew's dragon lizard thingy. I don't know what it's called. It's just a big lizard, and not an iguana, but I don't know. Anyway, but this is a stock tank, and you can use a stock tank as a garden bed. You just need to drill holes in the side at the very bottom to let out the water, because as you can see, if you don't, we've got standing water in here from all that rain we got last night. So you want to let the water drain, so you would need to drill some holes in the bottom of the container. And then so the other option, like this one, is a raised bed that my brother made for me. Right now it has the dirt out of it because we had to move it. It was falling apart, so we had to put it back together and restabilize it. But this is another option. You would just, to move it, you just have to take the dirt out of it. But these are mobile. They don't do any damage to the soil or the grass or anything. The grass will still grow underneath this, so this is one option that you have. So other options that you have that are temporary, it will do a little bit of damage to the grass, but grass is very resilient and it will grow back. So 5-gallon buckets. These are food grade. The white ones are food grade paint buckets from your local big box store. I just drilled holes in the bottom for drainage, but I don't recommend putting them in the bottom. You can put them in the sides, and that would probably work a little better. The other thing is just, if you have a bunch of plastic totes around, you can use that as well. So they're temporary. As long as you put drainage holes in them, you can grow just about anything in a container, and it's temporary. You can move it wherever you are. As a whole, when I built this garden, this was my mother's house, and in case I ever moved out of my mother's house, I didn't want anything permanent. So this whole garden fence is designed to be easily pulled up. I just used landscaping timbers and chicken wire to build this fence because we have suburban deer, and I have to protect the garden from the deer. So let's go in the garden. Okay, so the next type of bed I want to show you is made with these cinder blocks. And so I'm gonna get you up close so you can see them, how they're made. So they're only 2 rows high on there. And they're filled, right now they're overgrown because they haven't been worked over the winter. But this is what they look like. They're about 4 or 5 feet across, and at least 10 feet long. But you can grow a lot in this little space, and it's temporary. As you can see, they didn't brace these, so they are, the dirt is kind of pushing them apart, so you do have to put something in the holes to keep them together. But they are very, very, very useful for growing things. and they're temporary. This can be removed quite easily. And then I have a friend that owns cattle, and these are nutrient supplements, the tubs that you feed your cows, and she donated the empty tubs. So my garden is part in-ground beds and part container. Again, this container is built with landscaping timbers. It is easily removed. You can remove these. It would take a lot of work, but again, they're easily removed. And these things I got from the Dollar Tree. Now there is a more expensive version of these called a green stalk. Green stalks are amazing, and I hope to get one soon, but right now I can't afford it, so I made my own. I got these from the Dollar Tree. They sell out pretty fast, so you would have to go out to dollartree.com and buy them by the case, unfortunately, if you're interested in those. But they are on the dollartree.com. And then the other option that I wanted to talk about are these grow bags. And grow bags are readily available all over the internet. You can buy them in a lot of different places. And so let's go over here because I want to show you one last thing. And that is this bed right here. If you see right there is it's a retaining wall block that you can use for a retaining wall, and those 2x6s just slide right into that block. And as long as you put the rebar down there to stabilize it where it don't move, you can stack these higher than what I've done here. I just reached my price limit at the time, and as you can see, it makes a pretty good bed. I just bought 3 of these 2x6s, and I cut one in half to make the side walls. And I guess this is 4x8 foot bed, and and then I just filled it up with garden soil. Right now it definitely needs some amending, and it needs some more soil in it, but I've already planted seeds in there, so we'll probably wait till the end of the season. But all of this, again, it's all temporary. It can be taken out very easily, and the grass can be reseeded. As you can see, weeds grow really fast, so you can take these out and reseed the grass, and it'll be just like new again. So all of these are temporary options. Even an in-ground bed like this one can be pretty temporary. I mean, you can dig up the grass, and then when you're ready to move, you're just gonna reseed the grass, and the grass will grow back, so it's not permanently damaging any yards. So anyway, that's pretty much what I have to show you now. I wrote a blog with a bunch of links to different, like there's some metal Vigo garden beds that come highly recommended, but if you do searches out there on the internet, you can find the metal raised garden beds pretty easy, and those make it a lot easier to garden because you don't have to get down on your hands and knees to weed. But any garden, even unless you mulch it pretty heavily, you're gonna have to weed, so keep that in mind when you're building these beds. No matter what, you're probably gonna have to weed. So the ones, if you live in an apartment, I can tell you that there are even options for you. And my gardener just put out a video that talks about low light plants that don't need as much light as you think they would in order to thrive. So anything is absolutely possible. If you have a will, there is a way, and you just have to go out there and find it. So I hope this inspires you to start growing, and thank you so very much for watching, and I hope you join me for the next video.